In this video, you'll learn how to graph a square root function. This is the graph of the parent square root function, f of x equals square root of x. Notice how the graph of this equation is restricted to quadrant 1. Because you can't take the square root of a negative number, you have to consider the domain when graphing square root functions. Remember that the domain of a function is all of the possible input values of the function. To find the domain, set the radicand, which is the value under the square root sign, to greater than or equal to 0. The domain for the parent function is all real numbers greater than or equal to 0. This means that the graph will have no points for x values to the left of 0. Let's take a look at this question. What graph represents the equation y equals square root of x plus 5 minus 2? First, determine the domain. Remember, set the radicand to greater than or equal to 0. Then, solve the resulting equation for x. So all x values of the points on the graph will be greater than or equal to -5. Now, find some points that lie on the graph. Start with the x value, -5. Substitute -5 for x in the equation and solve for y. So the point -5, -2 is on the graph. Now find another point on the graph. Remember that all other points on the graph will therefore be greater than -5. So choose x values to substitute that are greater than -5. For example, -4. Substitute -4 for x. The point -4, -1 is on the graph. Remember, the graph of a square root function is a curve, so it's best to find quite a few points to plot and also to space out the x values so you can accurately graph the equation. Substitute -1 for x in the equation and solve for y. The point -1, 0 is on the graph. Substitute 4 for x in the equation and solve for y. The point 4, 1 is also on the graph. Find one more point. Substitute 11 for x in the equation and solve for y. So the point 11, 2 is also on the graph. Now there are enough points plotted to accurately draw the curve. Remember, there will be no points to the left of x equals -5, but the graph will continue to the right. Now you know more about graphing a square root function. Thanks for watching.